So since Barack Obama broke the world record in the history of social media use for political purposes in the 2008 US presidential elections, now you have several governments and politicians, nations embracing social media for political purposes. We're asking if this is rubbing off on Ghana. We're asking if social media actually plays an important role, in politics, in Ghanaian politics, and, well, by extension, governance. Okay, so my guests are, you must know them, my guests are Kobe Stone, CEO, Pressure Boys Incorporated. He was here just about a week ago. He's a social media marketer, and, well, he is the CEO of Pressure Boys Incorporated. And then Nana Addo Opoku, is our social media manager here at TV3. I'm asking that he would increase my followers on, on Twitter. When Kobe Stone was here the last time, he alluded to the fact that you've got to be very smart to be on Twitter, so that those of us who are not...
Well, you have to be...
Let's not even go there. So just, you're the savvy person. You help me increase my followership. All right, you both are welcome.
Thank you.
So, all through this year, I think there are about 50 or so major national elections. Some must have taken place all over the world. We have 18 in Europe, 18 in Africa, 6 or so in the Americas, and 2 in the Oceania. I mean, hitherto, these were elections that had little or no social media influence. But I dare say the situation is different this year round. Do you think the situation will be different in Ghana this year round? Definitely.
I think there are some parties who are definitely using it a lot more. If you look at 2012 and 2016, I mean, the gap is you can't even calculate how much is going into it. And we have to remember that Africa, in terms of Twitter, is dominated by politics. So Africans, as much as we love politics so much. Yeah. We are so engrossed in politics. Okay. So we've taken it from our everyday conversations that we have in the workplace, at home, and we've brought it exactly on Twitter. So Africans have not changed.
But does this reflect on Ghana? Do we have as much an interest in politics, or political activities that happen on social media, as compared to the fun and pleasure we derive from social media? You were here the last time, and you mentioned how we derive more fun and pleasure from social media as against using it as a marketing tool. Yeah. Let's see if this also reflects on our politics.
But yeah, it reflects. It reflects. If looking back to about 2 months ago, when President Mahama had a motorbike and was riding on it, and people used that video and they tagged it. He's too young, he's too youthful, he's strong, he can drive the country to the end. And that video went viral on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on Twitter. It was everywhere. It was just a short video that somebody took. You get me? So right now, I think people are using social media for politics, for political purposes, and it is working out for them. It's really working out for them. Watching the followers of Mahama right now, it's about 880K on Twitter.
On Twitter, yes.
And on Facebook, it's very big. You get me? Yeah. So they are using it to get the population, to get the people, to get the youth, the people who are now vibrant on social media. They are getting them, and people will know they are getting them, but they're influencing them in a way that you can't really tell. No, but it's really working.
Do we have that much of an interest in Ghana? I mean, we have 3 million Ghanaian, Ghanaians who are active on Facebook, for instance. Is that to say that these 3 million are actually keenly interested in the politics that goes on a daily basis, so much so that they follow, politicians and what they do on social media?
Ghanaians are political animals.
You think we're there?
We're definitely there. We're in tune with everything that's going on. I'll give you an example. On our News on TV3 Twitter page, whenever I'm live tweeting for the show, I get massive amounts of participation, engagement. Early in the morning, that shows you that at 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, there are people heavily tweeting. Not just me, but other companies as well. So I think that there are some stations and there are some political parties that are not maximizing the use of Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, they are. There's a report that shows
a lot of them. It seems like the two parties, NPP, NDC, are really the only ones who are maximizing and capitalizing on social media, which I think is a great disservice, especially because smaller parties who don't have the bigger budgets should not be going for traditional forms of media, but should be going with new media such as Twitter, Facebook, and really getting themselves out there. And they're still not doing that.
Now, there are several studies conducted on this, on the impact of social networking sites, social media, on offline behavior. So as if to say, information one gleaned from social media sites, would have an effect on the person's psyche when it's offline. I fail to see how Facebook, what we call the feeds or tweets, from Twitter would influence someone's, voting pattern, or would influence voting patterns of the electorate. It's hard for me to reconcile the two.
Okay, so let's take this example.
Yes.
Right now, everyone's complaining about doomsday.
Yes.
And you can just check the hashtag doomsday on Twitter.
Yes.
And you see the tweet under it.
Yes.
You get millions of tweets.
Yes.
They might not be going like Mahama is like this, Nana is like this, but they will use their problems to, when people express their problems, it affects the ruling government. Do you get me right now? And who knows, maybe the opposition governments have some people who start those hashtags about the doomsday, about all the problems people are having right now in the country. Do you get it? So sometimes some hashtags trend on Twitter. Like let's put Facebook on the side on Twitter, and those hashtags are political, but they don't appear political to people.
I totally understand you, but does this reflect on the true feelings of people? Let me give you an example. I want to analyze a report. This is a governance social media index report from Pen Plus Bytes that reveals that as at 8th June this year, President John Mahama was leading the pack of presidential candidates with 223,834 followers on Twitter, and he had 880,620 likes on Facebook. He's followed by Nana Addo Opoku with 94,034 followers on Twitter and 715,761 likes on Facebook. But is this a true reflection of loyalty? So we have doomsday trending, we have the hashtag trending, but is it a true reflection of what will happen at the polls?
No.
This is my
No. It's your numbers necessarily don't mean that it's going to end up this way or that way, because let's look at it this way. Let's use someone else, Donald Trump. Yes. Donald Trump is loved and hated by many people,
and they both follow him.
So they both follow him. So you can't say that a number necessarily reflects the number of supporters, because there are people who are keenly trying to criticize that institution. Again, someone like Edward Snowden. I'm sure you've heard of Edward Snowden, the guy who hacked the NSA and is now living in Russia. When he opened his Twitter account, he follows one person, the National Security Agency in the U.S. Do you see what I'm saying? So you not everybody that follows you necessarily is someone who loves you.
Yes,
maybe
people follow Snowden just because he's a brave traitor.
An NDC person will follow Nana Addo and the MPP and have notifications come off every time that Nana Addo or MPP tweets. Yes. Simply to be able to counter it. So numbers generally don't mean that this person has a bigger percentage. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it will be on election day.
Exactly, because I was reading those reports, which also indicates or suggests that it would seem as though social media, instead of politicians using that to influence people to toe their line, social media is rather causing what we call political polarization, in the sense that you have people who share the same viewpoints and ideologies getting closer together as against influencing others to follow them. This must have come to your notice.
Yeah, I think that when you have a core group that you belong to, today there's so many that others will definitely, come inside your bubble. Yeah. Different viewpoints now would creep into your bubble. I mean, let's look at something like a Facebook timeline. Facebook now uses algorithms to kind of bring things that are similar into your timeline. So you realize that you get these things, you get these certain kind of products. Some people are scared of it. That's why some people shy away from social media. But when you realize is that you have also a lot of friends and they also have different opinions and different views. Right. So by all means, you are going to be influenced by other people in your own space.
Okay.
So it's a good thing. I think that fine.
Okay.
You may try to
It's sad. We don't have much time, but I wanted us to touch on institutions like the EC, like the Ghana Police Service, and how active or not they are on social media. This is all time will allow for. Think about it. 275. This is the report. It's amazing. 275 members of parliament, and we have only 93 of them on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes, I get angry when I ask a politician who comes into the studio, do you have a Twitter account? What's your Twitter account so I can tag you? And they say, no, I don't have it. I'm so disappointed.
Incredible. I have to go now. Perhaps we can do a part 2 of this. Thank you so much. My guests are Nana Addo Opoku. Nana Addo Opoku, our social media manager here at TV3. Kobe Stone, CEO, Pressure Boys Incorporated. Hi, IQ man. What should we do?